So it looks like we have basically reached everyone that was waiting to get into the session. So awesome. So we'll go ahead and get started. I don't even think I introduced myself. I'm just kind of that person. So my name is Christian Brown. If you've never met me before, I am one of the assistant directors for admissions in Chicagoland. So I actually live in Chicago along with some others of you, which is kind of fun, and work in that territory. So I may have seen you around, but I also am not on campus a ton. So you may are like, who the heck is that? Well, I do work here. I'm one of the awesome staff. So what we're going to do today, you are in the financial aid and admissions session. So I know everyone is obviously at the very least admitted, but we realize you may have some questions still about admissions, about financial aid for sure, as we're working through those conversations. So this will be your space to ask any of those types of questions. Because again, this is a larger group, we're gonna leave everyone on mute, and we ask that you use the chat box function to insert any questions that you may have as we go through this. I will then at the very kind of towards the end of this, feed those questions back to our two presenters, who are Jolie Bacon, one of our wonderful financial aid staff people, has my favorite last name in the world because, like, who doesn't like bacon, right? And then we have Eric Rowell, who is, as you can see, the only person sitting in an office setting right now with his lovely table decorated. So he'll also be the person answering some of those more admissions questions. Maybe you're wondering about AP, those types of things, transferring credits, anything like that. So,
okay, can everyone hear me? Oh, very good, very good. So again, my name is Eric Rowell. I am an admissions counselor here at Augustana. And just to let everyone know, I am also an alum of Augustana. So I pretty much bleed blue and gold. And this is my favorite institution on the planet. As you can see, I have decorated this table, hoping to inspire you guys to choose Augustana if you have not done so already. Most importantly, this is about helping you understand not only what it is that we offer here at Augustana, but answering the questions you may have. I understand this is very challenging for you to make a decision right now amidst COVID-19. Many of you may not have had an opportunity to visit colleges just yet, or at least Augustana. So this is more challenging than it ever has been. Perhaps in choosing a college, but I'm really excited about you guys. I'm glad that you guys are here, and hopefully after today you'll know as much as you possibly can about this institution, and if you have not chosen us, hopefully you will. So got a couple of things I wanted to chat with you guys about. First off, so the typical deadline to sending your tuition deposit is May 1st. Here at Augustana and many other colleges around the country, we have extended that deadline to June 1st. So if you have not submitted your tuition deposit just yet, you have until June 1st to do so. We also want to make sure that for many of you who have not visited Augustana just yet, that you will also have that opportunity to do in the sense of a virtual experience with Augustana. So that also will be extended to June 1st. A question I like to ask is, who here that's online right now with us has already chosen Augustana? So if you've submitted your tuition deposit, if you can just respond in the chat room there that if you've chosen Augustana, that would be great. For those who have not visited Augustana, right now, what I'd like for you to do is consider for the visit grant, which is $1,000, $4,000 total over the 4 years. You would either have to do an online counseling session with one of your counselors, or do an info session, which is really general, and this is a part of that. It begins with a program that we have. So that should grant you the opportunity to receive the visit grant here at Augustana if you were to, again, join in on one of the info sessions or have an online counselor chat with one of us. What also is important is, I've heard questions about your term, your academics at your high school as far as finishing the year. Many schools, I have students in high school right now, students are having to, instead of getting A's and B's and what have you for their grades, they're having to go to a pass-fail system at your high school. You will not be penalized for that. We will still, and most of you have already been admitted, so it doesn't really matter at this point in time. And at the end of the school year, we simply need your completed transcripts. If there is any questions about AP courses and taking the tests, I imagine some schools are eliminating the test for AP. we will still review your application. We'll review how well you've done in that course and still consider you for transferring credit if that's something that's of interest to you. So we're going to do our best to provide for you what it is that you need in order to choose Augustana or choose the institution that you want with the credits that you might warrant here at Augustana. Definitely learn as much as you can about Augustana through our virtual tours. We have those available online. It's on our front page. We also have staff standing by on our front page as well of our website to answer any questions that you might have that might pop up after this session. Again, we want to give you as much information as we possibly can so that you can make a wonderful decision. Understand, even though how difficult this is, this time frame, most people still want to be in your shoes in the sense of being able to pick and choose amongst the colleges that you're interested in. It is a daunting task to decide one over another, but understand that only 33% of all adults have a college degree in America. So that means that the majority of students that are out there right now will be graduating from high school and then going into the workforce. So here you are right now trying to make a choice between one college or another, and some of you have 5 colleges that you're looking through. It's a wonderful position to be in. And what you have to do is just figure out which schools are the best fit for you, which school is, and then make your decision. Hopefully it is Augustana, but what matters most is, are you finding the school that fits all of your needs and desires? So it first starts with you. And doing these sessions allows us to give you as much information as we can so that you can make those decisions. Once you do choose Augustana, if you are to choose Augustana, you will be receiving information on housing and registration. There will be opportunities for students, if you want, to go onto our student Facebook page. Students are meeting each other there. So if you find someone that you like, that you want to room with and they want to room with you, you can actually make that request here, or you can do so randomly here at Augustana as we will fit you together. And we have like a 95% success rate with our roommate matches. So all that information will be coming to you after you have submitted your tuition deposit at Augustana. Also information about housing as well. There'll be a questionnaire that you'll receive so that we can match you up with roommates and things like that. So all that information is coming. Don't feel pressed to get it all done right now. We are patient here at Augustana. Again, it's about you making a great choice. You having an understanding of which school will be the best fit for you. Trying to see what else there is for me to chat with you about. Right now, it's important to have an understanding of the type of experiences you want to have while you're in college. So some of you might be athletes. Some of you are interested in the arts. If you love your particular activity and if you have talent in it. So I played basketball here at Augustana. I was fairly decent coming out of high school. Had a great experience when I was here, and I treasure that time. So if you have a skill set, if you play a sport, if you play an instrument, if you sing in the choir, and you want to participate in that in college, then make that a part of your decision when it comes down to choosing a college, because you're never going to get this again. 4 years, your best friends, and you having an opportunity to participate in the thing that you love. Because after college, it's about work and family and things like that. So again, if you got the skill sets and you absolutely love that activity, then do your best to try to participate in it. One of the beauties of Augustana, particularly with the arts, is that being a smaller school, you don't have to major in music or theater or art or what have you in order to participate in. You simply need talent and dedication. So oftentimes bigger schools will require you to major in that subject in order for you to participate. And we don't do that here at Augustana. We just want you to enjoy your time here and get a great experience here at Augustana. If there's any questions that you have, I'm going to turn it over quickly to Julie Bacon, who's in our financial aid department. And she's got a presentation for you, and she's going to talk about all things that are important. And she's absolutely brilliant. She's also an alum at Augustana as well. So we love this place. But if you have any questions about admissions, about tuition deposits or housing or registration or anything else, by all means, when we get to the end, make sure you ask those questions in the chat box, and we will answer those as promptly as we possibly can. But again, I'm very excited about you. Very excited that you're here today and you're interested in my school. And I hope that this school will become yours after today. So Julie Bacon, if you're ready, you can take it from here.
Hello. My name's Julie Bacon. I don't know if you can see me or we can still just see Eric. Thank you, Eric. You always have inspiring words. I love to listen to you. So I'm going to talk just really briefly today about some basic financial aid things. I know a lot of you probably already have your financial aid award. You're here today because you have specific questions that I will try to answer, but I'm hoping that what I share with you now could either answer some of your questions or trigger some questions. So I am just going to go through, so the financial aid process starts by filing the FAFSA. So most of you have done that. This is just a reminder that you're going to want to file the FAFSA every year. That FAFSA is always available that October before the next academic year. And we use that to determine eligibility for federal, state, and institutional grants, in addition to work study and federal student loans. I'm just waiting for the screen to, there we go, there's my screen. Many of you have received a financial aid package already. The way that we put together that financial aid package was by taking scholarship information from the admissions office and by reviewing your FAFSA results. And that is how we determined what you were eligible for. There are 3 different types of aid that might have been included in your financial aid package. The first type is gift aid. And as a reminder, gift aid is funds that you do not have to pay back. And that includes scholarships and grants. And many scholarships are renewable if you meet the renewal criteria set forth by the specific scholarship or by the department awarding the scholarship. Most grants are dependent upon FAFSA information, so we will review your FAFSA results every year to see if you are eligible for federal, state, or institutional grants. There are some exceptions. For instance, the visit grant. That's a grant, but that is renewable every year. We also will know through the FAFSA if you're eligible for federal work study, and that allows students to work on campus. And students are paid for hours worked, and students can decide what they want to do with their earnings. You can either use your earnings for personal expenses or apply your earnings towards your bill, or a combination. So you have some flexibility there if you do decide to work on campus. And then the other type of aid that we would have included in your financial aid package is the federal direct loan. And this is the main student loan through the federal government. And any student who files the FAFSA application can borrow through the federal direct loan program. You do not have to be approved to take this loan, nor do you need a cosigner to take this loan. There is some paperwork you'll have to do, and we will let you know what that is, typically in May. So very soon we will send some information out on the federal direct loan paperwork process. For students who do decide to enroll, just wanted to briefly describe the billing process so you know what to expect. A bill for each semester is generated and is due at the beginning of each semester. And these bills are available online through the student portal, which we call ARCHES, which you'll learn more about. And that bill is typically generated 3 to 4 weeks before the start of each semester. So about the 3 to 4 weeks, you'll want to make sure you watch your account. You'll get an email from the business office indicating the bill's been generated, and then you can check it on ARCHES. Now there are different options to pay that bill. So depending on what your circumstances are. So one option is paying the college directly at the beginning of the semester. So approximately half of your balance after financial aid is applied to your account is due at the beginning of fall, and the other half would be due at the beginning of spring. We also have a monthly payment plan. We partner with a third party, and that payment plan starts in July. So you would determine of your cost to attend how much you would pay each month. And then you would make payment beginning in July all the way up through the month of April. There is another option. It's a loan option where a parent can borrow through the Federal Parent Plus Loan Program. Now that application process is online. We will be notifying students more about that. Last we checked, it's a federal site, that 2021 Parent Plus Loan application is not yet ready, but it should be ready soon, and we will notify students once it is. Parents do need to be approved to borrow through the Parent Plus Loan Program. Another loan option would be what we call a private student loan. And this is a loan through a bank or a credit union, and it is in the student's name. So you would identify a lender and make application through them. A student will need a cosigner to take this loan. And if you're approved, the bank then notifies the college that you've been approved and would send the funds directly to the school. Now, in your award folder, we do have additional information about these payment options. There was a financial aid guide, so if you haven't had a chance to look at that, I'd encourage you to do that. You can also combine these options to best suit your circumstances. So if your parents say, we can afford to pay a part of your college cost directly to the school or through a payment plan, and then the remaining part, you're going to have to borrow through a private student loan. You have that flexibility to do that. So you can mix and match these options the best that you the best that suits your circumstances. So that's a really, really quick run through of financial aid from A to probably P. I'm sure I missed some things, but mostly I'd really like to hopefully address some of your questions. So hopefully some questions have come through on the chat line, and I know Christian's going to help ask those, and Eric and I will do our best to answer. I do want to mention that sometimes a student has very, very specific questions that might be best for us to answer individually later. And so if that's the case, I hope that we can take your name so that one of our staff members can reach out to you and best answer your question in great detail.
Awesome. 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 Thanks so much, Julie and Eric. We do have some questions that have come in. One disclaimer I will give is that some of your questions I think might be best answered from other individuals just because of some of the content. So we'll see which ones we can go ahead and get answered in this session of admissions and financial aid. For all of the other ones though, I will, I'm trying to copy them over into a document, and so I can try to follow up individually as well. I know there are a lot of things happening with our kind of current situation in the world, and to try to think of it as non-depressing as possible, there are a lot of questions around it. So there was a really great kind of start off question about just kind of, what's going to happen, right? So if we are not able to come to school in the fall, what's going to happen as far as payments and those types of things for your classes as an incoming freshman? The really transparent answer as a part of our campus community is we really just don't know yet. Just like you're probably trying to figure out certain things in regards to your own lives around this whole pandemic, we are literally doing the same thing. What I can inform you though is that our campus leaders are really keeping in mind of all of the things that need to be taken into consideration in this process. Along with that, our first and foremost thing is making sure you as an incoming freshman and our current students are going to be the top of mind for those decision-making processes. So what I would encourage everyone to do is obviously throughout those questions and things you have, keep track of what those are. We'll try to at our very best answer them as they come in, but just kind of be patient with us as we haven't actually developed all of our answers yet for those types of things. So we're working on it just like everyone else. And we will be as transparent as possible about communicating those things to everyone. One of my kind of like things I always tell students and families, check your emails. Usually if there are any policy updates or things like that, especially as an admitted student, that will be the first place where you will hear about those things. So do continue to check that and, kind of keep in tune with what's going on. But of course, be sure to bring your questions and answer or ask those to us as you come up with those. So we'll go ahead and jump over. Let's see. So we got a question from Sarah. Your question was, what does the course interest form decide? Should I choose classes from each category? Are there requirements for classes I should be aware of? And I actually think that's probably more of a bit of a question for maybe like our core staff, but I think Eric, you might be able to provide a bit of insight on that.
Sure. So what's important is if you choose Augustana, for one, you don't choose a major here at Augustana until the end of your freshman year, sometimes at the beginning of your sophomore year. So everyone comes in undeclared, so you have time to figure out what it is that you want to major in. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of kids on this list that know exactly what they want to do, but we have seen way too many students choose another major after some time here at Augustana. So basically your freshman year will be your sort of gen ed requirements. You'll be getting in a lot of those courses, like we have an English course here. We have, you'll be taking history or science and things like that. Perhaps a foreign language if you don't have a foreign language, if you have not fulfilled the requirement, which is 4 years of the same language while you're in high school. So primarily your freshman year, it will be those prerequisite courses that we have here at Augustana. And those courses tend to center around English, history, social science, physical science. There'll be a PE, a religion course, and perhaps a foreign language, again, if you don't fulfill that requirement coming out of high school. So I'm hopeful that answers your question there. And during housing and registration, or during registration with your faculty advisor, that person will work directly with you to help you pick the classes that you'll be going into your first semester, and then give you a good idea of what you should be doing your second semester as well at Augustana. So we'll be working directly with you. So upon you choosing Augustana and setting up your orientation date, your advisor at Augustana will work directly with you to help you choose those courses.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. So here's the next question. Will Augustana still honor scholarships for 4 years in light of COVID-19? Will scholarships be guaranteed if a student defers until 2021?
Great question. And the answer is yes. Here at Augustana, we've had students in the past defer for a year. They've taken a gap year and they've gone overseas for a study experience or just a very long vacation. We will honor for a year your scholarships here at Augustana. As long as you don't enroll at another institution during that time frame, we will honor what we have stated for you through the financial aid package here at Augustana. So if you earned a Dean Scholarship and you take a gap year, that Dean Scholarship will be available for you here at Augustana during your time.
Awesome. Okay, so our next question is there still time to apply for additional scholarships?
Yes. Is that for me or for Julie?
Either.
Well, Julie, you can give the technical stuff. My answer is yes, although there aren't specific scholarships that we have that kids can apply to. We have merit-based aid here at Augustana. So with your initial financial aid package, you would have gotten a scholarship that you would have earned based upon your academic profile. There is a possibility of appealing for additional funding if there is a great need for that. So you basically have to tell us what your need is and why. There are numerous students at Augustana or interested in Augustana that are applying for additional funding. So we have to be as supportive as we possibly can for as many kids that we can, particularly those with great need. So yes, you can let us know that you're looking for additional funding. Julie, if you want to tell them about like the process of that, that'd be great.
Sure, Eric. So typically when students receive a financial aid award and they've reviewed it and they've thoughtfully considered it and they still feel that perhaps it's coming up a little short for a variety of reasons, we ask that the student submit a letter to our office or to your admissions counselor and describing, why you want to go to Augustana, how much additional financial aid you're looking for. Sometimes if you have offers from other schools that are comparable schools, providing that information also. That helps us frame the conversation to make the best decision we can for you and for the college.
Awesome. Okay. So how do we get the visit grant now that we can't visit campus?
So I mentioned that at the beginning when I spoke. So yes, there is still an opportunity if you have not visited Augustana to receive the visit grant. There's two things we want you to be involved with. One is an info session and one is a counselor session. So if I'm your counselor from your territory or if Christian is, having an online session with us sort of qualifies you, because then we can answer a lot of personal questions for you. And then also having an info session, and this counts as an info session, being a part of it begins with A. So yes, it is possible still for you to receive the visit grant. So again, this and then having a private session with your individual counselor will allow us to grant you that grant.
Yeah. And I also, just so that you know, I just threw into the chat box the link with the COVID-19 update policy for our campus visit grant. So if you are like, okay, he just said all of that, but what? You can actually see that in writing, and it has been put on the website. So just check that link, and that'll also give you the further instructions for how to work. Being at this event today is half the battle. So that is really awesome. There's only one more step. So just something to think about. Our next question is, are there any scholarships for transfer students in art or, transfer students or students in art programs?
Julie, you want to take that one?
I can take that one. Yes, we do have a range of transfer scholarships. Decision for that scholarship is made at the time an admissions decision is made. And we do have an art scholarship. However, the review date has passed for that, but depending on where you're at in the admissions stage, we may be able to contact the department to see if there's any flexibility for review of that, but it is decided on a case-by-case basis and really dependent on where you're at in the admissions process. So the answer is yes, we do have transfer scholarships, and yes, we do have an art scholarship, but that is going to be dependent right now at this point in time on where you're at in the admissions process.
Awesome. And this kind of goes back, I think, to probably that request for reevaluation process. But the question is it possible to get more grant money if you were affected by COVID-19?
Julie?
So I would say there's a lot of unknowns right now in terms of funding provided by colleges in relation to COVID-19. I would say that COVID-19 is affecting many, many people, and this would fall right now under our general appeal process. So if your family's experiencing a loss of income due to this, we do have a special circumstance process in place that we would be more than happy to provide forms to you. The general appeal process involves writing a letter, but a special circumstance process involves submitting some other documentation. So if there's been a loss of income, then reaching out to our office would be appropriate to see if those forms would be something you should fill out for our office.
And Julie, just as a follow-up question, this is actually something I got from a family literally last night. And one of their questions was, we have an anticipated loss of income, but it had not happened yet. Does that affect anything, since, again, we just don't really know what's happening in the coming future?
That one's a little bit harder because when we make adjustments for special circumstances, we have to base them off of things that are fairly certain that have happened and have a better sense of how the year is going to unfold. But again, I think those are good situations to contact our office so we can talk through and really fine tune and decide what the best path forward for the student is.
Awesome. Thanks, Julie. Okay, we have tons of questions, but we have plenty of time, so we'll keep going. So another question is, I will be using the Brightstar 529 plan. How will that work for semester payment?
So I'll take that one, Eric. So 529 savings plans, usually we would recommend you contact the 529 to see if they require any kind of verification of enrollment, any kind of bill to release funds. So typically you'll work with them to determine how much you're going to withdraw, and then those funds are sent directly to the college, typically at the beginning of the semester.
Awesome. Okay. So the next question is, can I expect any change to my initial offer since I took the SAT again and increased my test score? Eric?
Typically, when we review a student's application for merit-based scholarships, not only do we look at the standardized tests, so ACT and SAT, we will also look at your GPA. We will look at the courses that you've taken. So if there's any honors or AP courses within there, we will look at your class rank. Although some schools don't offer a class rank, we also look at your activities and things like that. So it's not one thing that will determine if a student will receive one scholarship or another. So if there are increases in other things as well, then yes, there may be an opportunity for us to re-review your application or re-review your merit-based award, but not just an increase in the ACT or SAT. We would also need to see what your GPA is and things like that. So.
Awesome. And believe it or not, we're actually to the end of our list, but our last question is, so in order to appeal for more financial aid, we can write a letter explaining our situation and why we want to attend Augustana. So basically, yes, to kind of follow up with what it sounds like Julie explained. And I think we've probably had that question a couple of times. So hopefully that makes sense, and the process is pretty transparent at this point. And we will, like Julie said, look at those on a case-by-case basis. And one thing we really want to make sure folks know, like we realize, again, just like your families are affected by this, our families are affected as well. And so we are really trying to be, as thoughtful as possible in the process if you do need to really reconsider and bring that up with admissions and financial aid. And we will really try to work as much as possible to be thoughtful in those processes. So definitely let us know if you do have questions, and we'll be happy to assist you through that process as much as we can. So that is actually the end of our list. I'll give like maybe another 30 seconds to see if there are any more questions that might have come up. Oh, we do have one more question, looks here. So how does Augustana honor AP credits?
Okay, so typically with an AP course that you've taken, obviously we want you to pass the class, but also we require a score of a 4 on the test. So typically if you get a 4 or above, you should be able to receive AP credit here at Augustana College. Although I do understand that many of you will be impacted by COVID-19 in the sense that maybe you will not be allowed to take the test. So we will look at that on a case-by-case basis. So if that is you, whereas you're not going to be allowed to take the test at your school, then let us know, and we will evaluate your transcripts. And there is a possibility still of receiving AP credit here at Augustana College.
And one more question came in. Do we at Augustana accept dual enrollment credits from UIC?
From UIC, University of Illinois, Chicago.
Chicago. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do. We do take dual credits. So as long as you turn in your transcript at the end of the year, so we need your full transcripts from your high school. And if you do also receive transcripts from a college or university, send those with us and we will evaluate that. And more than likely, if it's a course that we would normally have or most colleges would have, you should be able to receive college credit for that as well.
Awesome. So another very specific question as well was, I'm currently taking the fundamentals of nursing at my high school, and it's a dual enrollment or dual credit course. How does a dual credit work at Augie, or I guess the process?
Okay. So again, just turning in your transcripts at the end of the year with all of your dual credit courses. We will evaluate it. And again, if it's something that we normally would have, here at Augustana, then it should transfer. I'm not as familiar with the requirements for every major here at Augustana. We do have nursing at Augustana. So if that's sort of like a beginning course, that is the equivalent of a beginning course here at Augustana for nursing, then those credits should transfer. But we will need to talk with our registrar to make sure that that's a possibility.
Awesome. Okay, if we are paying the admissions fee, and I'm going to say deposit fee, I think by June 1st, when do we start applying for school loan application?
I'll take that question.
Good.
So we recommend, if you're going to pursue loan options, starting that process early in the summer. So end of May, beginning of June, you'll want to start the private student loan application process. And that's because you want to make sure that things fall into place the way that you're hoping before the billing cycle is generated. Same with the Parent Plus loan. Usually we say by June 15th to get that application process started then. Now, if for whatever reason something happens and you don't get that application started in June and it's a little bit later, it's not too late, so I don't want you to worry. But in terms of ideal timing, we say early on in June is preferred.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Y'all have a great day, or we'll see you on the next link.
Thank you, everyone.